Hello and welcome to Rauta's stream. I hope you're online and a little bit of technical problems here, as always, when doing this kind of a pilot run, virgin flight, or whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know how this is going to work actually, because very little plans made for this particular first stream. I was about to do some unboxing, which I have a knife here for, also the box, obviously. And what else? I just watched the Dirt movie, the movie about Mötley Crüe, and I liked it a lot. So I'm gonna talk you a little bit of that also. And as this is the pilot stream, so to speak, there will be more streams if people actually like this one, and then we can just focus on any, say, given topic, be it about movies, be it about certain bands or scenes, albums, just whatever we feel like doing. But that's also up to you, dear audience, because for the time being, let's just see how this one goes. And thanks for asking, guys. Things are pretty nice. I have lots of beer here, and well, I just enjoyed a nice beer with the movie. I'm rather stuffed. I had too much of snacks to eat today, so I think it's going nicely. And hello to Chile as well. So since we have some audience, let's see what we have here. Now, this little baby weighs about 11 kilos. That is about 25 pounds, so heavy as hell. This was sent to me by Laitilan Wirvoitusjuomatehdas, which is a company doing beverages, that is lemonade, beer, and whatnot. So they're the first ever to kind of sponsor Rauta. So let's just see in this live unboxing what they have sent us. I try to show you as much as possible, given that I have no accurate knowledge what is to be hidden inside. As you can pretty much figure out, it's gonna be beer. They're not gonna send me lemonade for, I don't know, for metal's sake. So these were just in my garage to get a little bit of chill, to be more drinkable. These will be featured in opinion videos. As you know, I'm a beer drinking guy, whiskey drinking guy, and I will be, I usually drink some kind of alcoholic beverage when doing opinion videos. Some might not like it, but hey, it's not really my problem if you're not a beer drinker. Yes, this first is Laitilan Kukko. Kukko meaning rooster or cock. IPA, India Pale Ale. These guys, I think, were supposed to send me like 2 bottles or cans of each. So we'll be going these just briefly here. What else? Then we have some of these, by the way, are very new. Some of these are not available in foreign countries, that is outside Finland, and some of these are really, really new ones, so they might not be even available in your local market. But anyway, this one is Kukko Red Ale. Those who are not familiar with red ale, the color is kind of a red. It's more tasty than your average lager, but it's not as, say, challenging as typical Imperial Stout or maybe Hoppy India Pale Ale. This is kind of a say, not so comfortable way of holding the box and trying to open the bottles here anyway. But just let's go quickly through what we have here. Then we have Nipa, and that is New England India Pale Ale, kind of a unfiltered pale ale variant, very tasty. Usually, totally recommended. I think we have these with the Arch Code interview. If you haven't still watched it, I recommend it for all you black metal guys out there. And despite all the noisy elements, I think it's still one of the more interesting ones. Then we have this kind of a Kellerer beer, cellar beer. To be honest, I don't think I have actually seen this one before. Looks like a new one to me. I'm not sure if it's available. What else? Laitilan Wirvoitusjuomatehdas, which is basically the German beer, Kölsch. Very easy to drink, very mild tasting beer for hot summer days. If you've ever been to Köln, this is by the way the same, Köln, Cologne, they just do it there. Lots of Kölsch. Then we have Imperiali, which is Imperial Stout, very, very dark, very tasty, very challenging beer. Then we had also with the Archgo ones. This, I'm not sure if this has been here before. Brown Ale. Yet another different version of ale. More on the easy side of tasting. Another Imperiali. Let's see what else. This is also the brown ale. Then we have Weizen, that is Wehne, Weizenbier, German style, kind of acquired taste beer, if you know what I mean. Another red ale, and what else? What else we have here? Some still. This was another Napa. I just basically have to go through all of these. As you can know, I haven't seen all of this. Then we have licorice porter, kind of a interesting beer that is having this kind of a strong yet kind of a unique taste. And then we have this with Metalheim, already mentioned, Helles, lager, more for the average Joe of beer drinking type. And another Weizen, Keller beer. And yes, I think that is more or less the ones we have here. So quite a selection of different beers from Laitila. We will be going through these beers in those opinion videos where we're going to bitch and moan about this and that, or tell you my opinions about various topics, as you have already seen a lot of me doing that. Now, people, vote which beer we should go for this stream, because I have an empty glass waiting to be filled with beer. The other glass I have here is only a glass of water, and it's not gonna really suit my beer need. So what do you think? Which beer we should have before we go to Mötley Crüe talk? Laitilan beers, only French Belgian beers there. Well, Belgian beers are really, really good. One of the best beers in the world, if you ask me. Obviously, I have been only once to Brussels, but I got to say, what a fine selection of those great beers they have there. Lots of really good ones. I think I had to pick only 3 countries in the world of which beer selections I would combine to make kind of as good as possible kind of a beer garden, beer cellar, beer garage, whatever. Belgium, Scottish, probably American beers. Those would be 3 different angles of wonderful beers. So, yeah, wheat beers. Well, this one is the one that came with this box, 5.5 wheat beer. Yeah, there are lots of excellent American beers outside. I mean, the beer scene there is just huge. Lots of microbreweries, lots of big ones, lots of things that don't actually go for either of these, say, labels, boxes, or whatever. So Great selection with American beers. I mean, it's a so big country, so much beer fanatics to go with. So there you have it. Red ale, 1 vote. I think I'm thirsty enough to wait for another one. So I think let's go with this one. Let's see how this. Can you just listen to the sound? Oh, probably some water. All right. So, guys, gals, whoever, have you seen The Dirt, the Mötley Crüe movie? That came to Netflix some 2 weeks ago, so I'm kind of late with that. I don't have that much to time watch movies. I'm spending way too much working out and watching series or playing video games. So that is when I have the free time, the luxury called free time. And as such, I don't want to watch very much movies, but this was on my to-do list because being a Mötley Crüe fan since I was a kid, so obviously I had to do this as soon as possible. And have you watched it? Have you liked the movie? Because I think it's great. It's actually probably one of the better biopic movies, especially when we talk about band biopics. So if you haven't seen it so far, let me start with this recommendation. Watch it. Japanese beers. Gotta say, I have tasted only like a couple of Japanese beers, so not very experienced in that field. Now, this color is not very red, as you can probably see. It's quite brown. It's kind of a reddish. And this taste is way better than your average lager, but it's kind of a very easy on your mouth, on your tongue. This is kind of a lightweight in the sense of not being very foamy. Bear in mind, this was now in my garage, so these are not in fridge temperature, but more like a little bit warmer. Actually, the way I kind of prefer most of my beers. Very nice, but still quite easy to drink. Very drinkable. Would suit as well, kind of a sauna, probably food. I mean, lots of different kind of foods, as well as just, generic drinking, but not so much about this kind of a beer connoisseur kind of a thing, more on the easygoing mainstream side, if you will. Like, let's put it this way, somewhere between lager and average IPA, and this would just fit right in. Red ales are usually, in my opinion, I'm not an expert anyway, quite easy to just, get along. They're kind of a compromise when it comes to the intensity of the taste, but they are not the kind of beers that just kind of stick in your head in the way of like, hey, this is just some killer riff. It's this goddamn hit song. They're not the hit songs of beers. They're just the nice fillers, so to speak. Let me just take a look at your comments here. I probably missed some of those just because I'm talking a lot here. Yes, I have actually had this NEPA that we have here. I think that was featured in the Archgoat video. I think it's one of the better Laitilan beers because, well, I am an IPA guy, and doesn't matter if it's kind of a filtered or unfiltered type. I mean, I like both ways, really. But yeah, nice selection of these beers, and we will be going through these in following weeks, or rather months, probably. If I'm gonna have just one beer per opinion video, and there's like, would I estimate it like almost 20 cans or bottles here, so it will be long-lasting box, this one. What else? Well, yeah, Mötley Crüe movie. Okay, back about the movie. well, what to say? If you're a fan of the band, obviously this movie is gonna keep on giving way much than without knowing all the songs, knowing the story of the band. For example, I read the book Dirt a few years ago, and I really liked it. I kind of understand very well why it's the kind of a biography or autobiography to which other rock books are compared to. It is really justified. First of all, it's really well written. It's kind of a scene from all these four angles, four guys. They're each telling their story. And as such, the story is really, really compelling. I mean, there's lots of ups and downs. It's really dramatic. There are deaths, which are always dramatic when it hits you in close. Then there are lots of happy moments. There are lots of fun parts, lots of like, what the hell I just read or saw. Some of the best ones are also in the movie. Some of the worst parts are also in the movie. So the movie is like this roller coaster, much like the book. But the book is way more intense because you get to spend more time with these ups and downs than obviously with the movie. With movies, it's like watching a trailer versus watching the real deal. And obviously, I don't usually like compare movie to a book or movies and games or games and books because different media. Uh, it's like comparing death metal to black metal. Which one you prefer? It depends, man. And little different things, much like going to a gig or listening to an album with I don't know, in your home or whatever. Different kind of experiences, different formats. But I think both ways are really good. If you're not a book reader, most are not. I'm not a big book reader. I read every now and then, but I'm kind of slow, like reading a few pages at a time and whatever. But I must say, having been reading these biographies for a few years more than any other books, really, I still think that Dirt holds the number one spot. Aussie book would be another really, really great book, but it's kind of whitewashed, like some people said. So even though there's a lot of trauma, it's more about fun moments, and some of the dirtier things are probably just buried because Siren Osbourne or some other people. Whereas Mötley Crüe is more gritty, it's more grim also when it comes to really dark places. And Neil Strauss, the guy who kind of co-writing it or like main writing it, he's a long-time Rolling Stones journalist. Also did a not Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson has, and Janet Jameson, the porn star. Those books as well. So he kind of proves that he's a really, really skilled author when it comes to creating these biographies. And I must say, Janet Jameson book is also very intriguing. Not to relate it to metal anyhow, but if you are into biographies, I strongly recommend that one. And also the Marilyn Manson thing. So very harsh in a way, very graphic, also very dramatic. I don't know. It depends how sensitive you are to certain topics. For example, this Mötley Crüe stuff had really, really um, nasty things happening, things that you don't want to happen to yourself or to your friends or whatever. So kind of like book that is might be touchy, might be lots of fun, and same applies to the movie. But if you like the movie, I totally suggest go for the book. So what else? Well, yeah, that and Aussie book. Well, go for them. Red wine. I'm not the wine guy really. Probably more white wine than red wine. I could go for with a kind of a good dinner, good steak or whatever, fish. Yeah, why not? But to be honest, I rather drink some beer and whatever instead of drinking wine. So you probably won't see wine happening here unless it's a bad wine, like hey, Slayer red wine. We cannot review it just for the sake of it, but not red wine, not anytime soon anyway, unless something special happens. You never know. Um, That's a good one by Max Goodman. You like your beers warm. Why, when you can keep them stored in the fridge Finnish ice outside. Well, the thing is, most beer actually benefit of having kind of a warm thing. I mean, kind of a taste becomes more intense. Obviously, with lagers, which are not good, known for the kind of a good taste, they are more just being very drinkable and kind of like thirst quenchers. When you go to sauna, when you have done some I don't know heavy work, even lifting, or just physical labor. Uh, Cold lager is really really good selection for those kind of moments. Just digging some I don't know, hole or whatever in your backyard, doing some garden work. Sure, go for the lager rather than IPA. But when you want to go a little like this, like beer connoisseur, like when you're like analyzing an album, like, hey man, look, did you just pay attention what kind of a drum fill Fenris did with this particular song? How he used that hi-hat before moving to ride, and then using some crash and china, then when you're analyzing albums like these with your little finger just up, then you go for IPAs or I don't know, maybe sour beers or imperial stouts, and then you want to have your taste buds as ready for the beer itself as your ears are ready for those individual parts on any given song or instrument or whatever. Can you hear the bass solo? And then you're like, oh, can I just dip my tongue in the glass and feel the hoppies doing their dirty dancing on my tip of the tongue before going down and all that stuff? So that's why I don't put them outside. But that's a fair question. If you do like your beers cool and cold. Any potatoes? Of course we have potatoes. This is Finland. If you have ever been to Finland, they're potatoes. We're a potato country. Yeah. Talking about dirt once again, how deep they went, where it's just being a party cocaine movie. That's because there were lots of other things going on with the movie and the book, not just being partying, not just about screwing those groupies and whatnot. It's so much deeper. But then again, they were like party animals. But the book wouldn't be that good. And same applies to the movie. If it was just about snorting coke and banging groupies, obviously there had to be some kind of a drama. So it seems like the whole band career was like meant to be a kind of a story, like a warning story, but also a very entertaining one. Um, what else? What else? Uh, what kind of beer I would go, or what would be the best when eating barbecue? Mm, tell your name, and that's a tricky part for me nowadays because I try to avoid drinking too much the same beer. It is as much a hobby to me to go different kind of beers through, as well as going through a lot of albums instead of just listening to Raining Blood all the time. I want to go through different albums. I want to go through different beers. So I don't have any kind of names to drop you in a way like that. If I would be going, a getting some drinks for barbecue, it could be some easy pale ale maybe. Sometimes lagers are okay, but then again, I get really fed up with the tastelessness quite soon. Um, so if I would go for a lager, it could be a blonde ale or whatever as well. It could be one of those kind of a lagers which would have more taste like a. I'm thinking of this American lager from Boston. Help me out here, Samuel what? Can't really get the name on the top of my tongue right now, but basically anything else maybe except for porter, stout, sour ale maybe. So or really strong India Pale Ale. Samuel Adams, thank you. That would be probably the type of lager I would be going for. I actually really liked Samuel Adams when I went to the States, and it was one of the first lagers I got there. And as much as people want to say all the American lagers are the same, they are not. If you go for Budweiser, Bud Light, Miller Lite, and other these kind of a mainstream big ass names, well, they kind of taste much like the same. Pretty much like what we have here, like Heineken or Tuborg or any Finnish basic beers. I mean, they're all the same, more or less. But I mean, it's really hard for me to drop you names with what you would do with barbecue, because even barbecue itself is kind of a, some people prefer more, sweet taste, some prefer more peppery taste, some prefer more chili and all that stuff. So I don't know, it depends what are you having. And of course I might have weird selection of beers for barbecue. So go for the kind of a middle road if you're uncertain. Let's see. There are questions. I tried to get to all of your questions. What do I think of Horna having to hide where they are playing in order to avoid Antifa? Well, I think Horna are doing the right thing. Being smart, outsmarting their enemies, basically. And also like proving that these scare tactics, what they had about a year ago, roughly, with Tage, of which I made a video back then. I was thinking of, should I make another video about Horna doing the same thing as Tage? But then again, I felt like it would be just me kind of recycling my ideas, because I could just say the same words about Horna case as with Tage. But it seems that Horna guys are smarter. They maybe learn from others' mistakes. Maybe they are smarter by nature. Maybe they are not as pompous as Norwegian colleagues. Maybe it's kind of a Finnish mentality. It's kind of a, we fought Russia and we won, the kind of a thing. Whereas Norwegians are like, oh, in Norwegian black metal guys, we get to do whatever we want. Oh, no, we can't. Okay. So yes, Horna is doing the right thing to do that. Kind of like if you can beat them and you don't want to join them, you have to outsmart them. It's not maybe beating as such, but at least you are living to fight another day, so to speak. So I think Horna is winning so far. This is completely unrelated, but just curious if anyone here has checked Vehemence's album. I gotta say, I haven't checked it out, but well, hope some people have. Okay, now there's a lot of comments coming. I'll try to. Ja, perunat kiehumaan vaan sit juu, says Viva Mortem. Yeah, let's make the potatoes boil. That's kind of a Finnish inside joke, not worth translating that much. Yeah, hello, Lone Wolf 668, almost neighbor of the beast. And lots of Samuel Adams comments, good ones. Canadian craft beer. I don't think I have had the chance to try Canadian craft beer. Canada doesn't even exist outside North America. Just kidding, great people there, but I mean, it's kind of overwhelmed by your neighbors, United States of America, also known as Trumplandia. Oh, this is not GTA 3 shirt. This is GTA episode from Liberty City. I think it was console edition. Back when I was still working for a computer game import company, I have plenty of GTA shirts from those days when Rockstar and Take-Two games were among many others, which were distributed in Finland, and I was working for that's the reason why I have so often these gaming t-shirts in my videos when it's not the case with the metal band shirts. I kind of was figuring out, should I kind of dress up for the stream, put my Burzum long sleeve on, which I had today earlier, just be more metal. But then again, like, hey, that would be a poserism. If this is the t-shirt I have on when I am just doing my whatever here, why would I change clothes for the stream? That would be kind of a poser thing to do, right? Rauta is what Rauta is. If somebody doesn't like it, too bad. That's how it is. But this is not the GTA 3 shirt, but the later version. What else? Yes, this American beer is just like making love to a canoe. It's fucking close to water. That is kind of a joke related to a many different things. But I disagree. There are lots of good American beers. So just because you have taste Budweiser, Miller, or whatever those mainstream lagers, don't mean that there are lots of good American craft beers. Go taste them, and your world is like boom. I mean, like, this American lager kind of a myth is much the same thing as there is no black metal outside Norway. Do you agree that Norway is the only country with black metal? If you do agree, then I can say there are no good beers in America. Rest my case. Have I tasted beers like Maiden, Nazarene, Amorphis, and such? Actually, I have tasted all of those. Well, not all of those, but like 2 different Amorphis beers. Both are good, especially the Pale Ale. Really good, one of the better ones from Finland. Probably the best band beer from Finland. Iron Maiden beer, the Trooper, which I think is a British ale, is a quite good one. One of the Impale Nazarene beers was also a good one, but I think there are 2 available, and I'm pretty sure that I have only tasted the other one. So probably not having all of those, but I try to have them. Rauta is Kaiser, yeah, German beer. Oh, let's do them German things. Would you like to me to talk in German way? Sorry that we burned down Laitilan. Von Graben wine. I haven't tasted and probably never will. What else? What is the next gig for me? It's probably the Crescent and Mustan Kuun Lapset that is gonna take place in 20 days. That is 3 weeks. And if everything goes okay, I will be interviewing both bands. Mustan Kuun Lapset still haven't replied whether or not we're gonna do the interview. The Crescent promised to do the interview, so that should be nice. And hello to you, Azathoth as well. Great Cthulhuan name there. Favorite GTA radio station depends on the game we're talking about. Obviously, earlier editions of GTA that had to be the kind of a metal or rock station. There were really nice tunes. Slayer, Twisted Sister, Anthrax. I remember playing GTA Vice City, and what was it, Vice City? Yeah, it had to be, yeah, because there were like Anthrax Madhouse playing, and you're driving kind of your Ferrari or Lamborghini kind of cars, and you're just, it's a madhouse. Oh man, it's just like a really great soundtrack. But obviously, the best would be GTA 4, The Lost, and the Damned DLC soundtrack, because there were Battery, Cannibal Corpse, D-Side, and other great bands. I mean, when you have Battery in a video game, there's nothing that can beat that, really. So, yeah, nothing to add, really. What else? Rauta is said by YouTube. Censorship account. Yeah, Rauta. We should do it more Rauta way. What else? World-class IT professional. I don't think it's poser. It's very geeky. And geeks are not posers. Geeks are true to their nature. Most of the time, anyway. I had to try Wicked Weed milk and cookies. That sounds really awesome. I will put that into my pick of my brain. Oh, so what I'm drinking, somebody joined party late here. Kukko Red Ale from Laitila, a Finnish brewery. This is they are supporting me with the big package of well, different kind of beers, which I will be showing you in the later opinion videos as well. I just obviously had to start with something, so why the hell not to drink with you guys? I hope you're having something there, unless you're driving. Then again, if you're driving, you shouldn't be drinking, or at least watching YouTube videos. So, I guess that's kind of a no-no. Um, well, Texas YouTube censorship account. I remember having Lone Star beer in Texas. It's not like the best beers ever, but it's 100% Texan feeling, even with the logo and all that stuff. And I remember it being quite okay. Maybe Rauta works at K Rauta. Those who don't know what K Rauta is, it's a hardware store. No, nothing related to that. I work at a geek thing. I'm a nerd. That's for real. Powerlifting, black metal, death metal headed nerd, if you will. Doing self defense, watching movies, talking way too much, playing video games. Weird combo for sure. Also wanna be. No, I'm not gonna say it. What do you think of French band Peste Noire? It's a weird black metal, kind of goofy but fun. Well, yeah, it's definitely goofy. Musically, not my taste. Politically, even less so. But I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Now, I know saying these things kind of out loud kind of labels me as, in some people's eyes, to whatever. But my point is, people have the right to do whatever with their political views. I mean, considering that most countries live or would like to live in sort of a democratic lifestyle, and when you have such of a lifestyle, political or whatnot, you are able to go for the far right or far left or just be apolitical totally, much like me. So I don't have a problem with their stuff, but I don't like it. Not musically, not politically, not the kind of a folk way of doing stuff. For me, it's kind of too goofy. So I don't have a problem, people like digging that, but it just doesn't appeal to me one bit. I don't hate it, but I still haven't heard any good song by them. So I hope that explains. I'm kind of not into Peste Noire. Whatever. Paris. So bottle beers are for elite. Well, beer cans versus bottle beers. It's like saying vinyl versus CD. Both have their, positive and bad sides. To me, it doesn't matter where the beer is coming from. Can, bottle, from the sky, that's pouring rain, doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a format. What else? Many craft microbrew scene to speak in Finland. Yeah, there is a thing of having a microbrewery scene. During last maybe 5 years or so, these microbreweries have been, coming up. It's not huge, but there are lots of things happening all the time. And, the beer scene is getting stronger, in my opinion. More competition, but also kind of a collaboration going on all the time. Probably some of the smaller breweries are already gone, but it seems that new ones are popping up all the time also. So I think we have some good stuff going on. It's not like we have the world class craft beer scene, but certainly a thing here. What else? Y City, yeah. I'm kind of a backlog reading all the time. Coffee or tea? I'm definitely a coffee type. I drink both good tea is always nice. Pot coffee, it's like the best thing in the world when it comes to drinks anyway. Yes, you have Kalia there, automatic balalaika. Happiest country in the world. What do you think of Finland being the happiest country in the world in 2018? I think it's about kind of a controversial topic. It's not very easy to put it into one sentence. The thing is, obviously, in Finland we have good healthcare, we have a low crime rate, low corruption rate, and all that stuff. But Finns are also very, how to put it, we're good in complaining. I kind of hate it. I hate the kind of a Finnish mentality that everything sucks. Like there's the saying, only a Finnish person is ready to pay somebody 100 euro that his or her neighbor wouldn't get 50 euro for free. So we're kind of an envious type of a nation. We're kind of a people that are like, oh, I don't like neighbor has a new car. Oh, I don't like him. I used to like him. His new car. That neighbor, he has a new wife, which is, by the way, prettier and younger than mine. I hate the neighbor now on. We have that kind of mentality. Also, if it's summer, it's too hot. And if it's not hot, it's too wet. If it's winter, we're like, it's too dark, it's too slippery, it's too icy. There's too much snow. You have to do, work your ways through snow, plow it all the way. If there's not snowing, people are, oh, it's too dark. There's not snow. This is not proper winter. These also apply to, fall and spring. If spring is coming too quickly, that is, getting warm and all that stuff, people find reasons to bitch about that. I just bought new winter tires for my car. I'm not gonna change it just because sun is shining and all that stuff. Finnish people are kind of a weird ass mentality, but then again, we also have a lot of good things here. Like I said, there is no basically terrorism. There is very little organized crime as such. Politicians are always what they are. It doesn't matter which country. We're kind of living in a safe, democratic environment. Climate is quite okay. We have good regulations and laws mostly. We do have relatively high tax, but then again, like I said, we have good healthcare, good system with libraries, college, university. In general, school system is really good. So I think it kind of holds a lot of truth in that we are a happy nation, not maybe seeing ourselves happy, because obviously when Finnish people were commenting on Facebook about these news that we're the happiest nation in the world, obviously people are like, oh yeah, that must be a joke thing. This is not a kind of a satirical news or whatever. So people were already kind of making jokes about it. We are happy. That certainly doesn't apply to me. But in general, I think people are just doing okay. They just don't separate their personal happiness, like are they satisfied with their sex life or relationship or work or whatever. They don't separate that from the these basic ideas. Like I said, healthcare and tax, crime, and whatever. Excuse me. So the thing is, happy, yeah, on general level. Personal level, well, it's always up to the individual. So really tough cookie to a controversial topic in that sense. What else? Oh, 4.5 subscribers and G being the one. Woo! Let's have a toast for you, my friend. What else? Someone wouldn't consider Peste Noir as black metal. That holds true to some points, yes. Agreed. You just saw Horna on Wednesday, Justin. Well, I'm happy for you. Horna is always a good live band, very solid. Not maybe the most surprising band as such, but very experienced, very solid, kind of trustworthy bands. You don't see disappointments there. Usually. There are always exceptions to every rule, I guess. I remember that he's seeing a video clip where there was like major playing mistakes, probably because guys from Horna being drunk. But I mean, in generally speaking, Horna is a great live band. Maybe more or less a live band than album band. And Lone Wolf just reported having Nyctophilia album arriving. Yes, excellent. You had it after my review. I'm very happy that you got to like that album because of my review. That nothing makes me more happy about doing those reviews than the fact that actually some people saw them as useful. I mean, it's not like I'm reviewing those albums for myself. I use pretty much, I know pretty much instantaneously whether I'm gonna like an album or not. So I'm making those reviews for you guys as a warning, as a suggestion, or whatever recommendation. So whatever you feel like them useful, thank you. It's to serve you, not anybody else. Thank you, Tero, being 5 out of 5 channel. My biggest compliments to you. I try to make this channel better all the time, and that's why I'm experimenting with these streams as well. If you do like these streams, I will have them in the future as well. I don't know, maybe once a month. It depends how much you like these, how much I have free time to spare, you know, to drink beer and talk to you about this and that. But like I said, thank you for being part of this Rauta community, this part of metalheads, enjoying metal and talking about it to each other and whatever. And what else? Eurolamp had this question. So basically, Finnish people are pessimists. Yes, I could say it's pretty accurate estimate on average Finnish people. Of course, we have lots of optimists as well, but in general, we have this kind of a incline for pessimism, I guess. That would be the way to describe it. Doing a book review. Actually, Metalheim asking any chance of seeing a book review here, like band biography. Funny that he asked. That was originally planned for this weekend and then to next one. But a couple of videos which I had to do first. But there will be a book review and book review commentary video coming up about in 2 weeks. I'm not gonna just reveal the name of the book and the band just yet, but there will be book reviews coming up later. So you will have it, and let's hope that it's an interesting one. But I will be talking about metal books later on. I just finished actually one biography by one band, and I want to talk about it, and also the metal books in general because of well, you get the idea when I'm talking about that on the video. What else? Yes, Finns are lots of having those kind of a black humor. Black people humor. You know, when I was listening to a music today, and there was this track called Black Army, and the chorus part was going something like Black Army is rising or Black Army is marching. And while at the same time I was feeling like, okay, it's like this black armor people and like black metal people or, you know, whatever it is kind of referring to that. I had to entertain myself with the idea that it's actually singing about black people, like maybe Native African people or Afro-American people rising, like Black Panther movement, and kind of became a totally ridiculous idea of a death thrash metal band singing about the Black Panther army. Kind of a fun thought. Okay, let's see what other things there are. Let's see. What do I think about YouTube's 1,000 subs limit to stream with a mobile phone? Well, I don't have a opinion about that because that won't be a concern of mine. It's not like we're gonna have 1,000 people watching a stream, so really cannot comment that much. Have I seen Lords of Chaos movie? Not yet. I'm waiting it to come officially out, like through Netflix or whatever. It's not like on my priority list to watch that, but I definitely want to see that because of lots of talk, lots of this conversation, and also the points I made about the video. When the trailer came out. So I will comment it once I've totally seen it. Um, what else? This is a good point. I don't know why anything kill yourself in winter because in Brazil the politics corrupt, crash the country and nobody kill yourself. Um, well, there's something in Finnish climate, and it's to be said that it's kind of a biologically making people malfunctioning. You know, something to do with, I guess, serotonin levels and whatnots. So it's something that we cannot kind of control. But because there's lots of darkness, and Finland is, kind of a big country versus the amount of people, the population here, and some people are just kind of a lonely. And then when we have this habit that only booze is the only acceptable drug, and we know that everybody who's negative, drinking booze is not solving your problems, but it's kind of enhancing them. So when you have loneliness and these mental, biological problems because of darkness and cold and whatnot, that kind of messes up a lot of people. I mean, imagine if Finland was like, say, on the level of Equinox, and not Equinox, but as what the hell? Okay, let's put it this way: if we were living like in places like Greece, Spain, Italy, or like places like Los Angeles, everything was warm all the time, sun was shining, blah blah blah. People would be probably way more partying. Especially when I was watching today the Dirt movie. I kind of like started to think that these kind of major rock star band kind of things, it's more easy to happen when you're living in such of a party city such as Los Angeles. I mean, you have those pool parties, you have those bikini people, you have these kind of all around summer parties, but you don't have those in Finland. When these guys went to the rehearsal place and, there was bikini babes hanging around, that's not how Finnish rehearsal places look like most of the time anyway. I mean, our summer is like 3 months at best. And the rest are people are like, oh man, it's so cold. I don't wanna go out and whatever. It's not like we have those bikini groups like, oh yeah, it's so hot. Maybe I could just, have a little drinks. We don't have that. So those rock star things happen in warmer places. Um, what else? What else? What else? Uh, what is my favorite black metal band from Finland? My favorite black metal band from America. Uh, Justin, to answer your questions, it's hard to pick just one favorite black metal band from Finland. Good guess would be Satanic War Master if I would be counting all the albums which I like very much versus albums I didn't like that much. Um, Diaboli would be very good candidate as well. Those and Flagane, maybe Satanic War Master, but it's kind of hard to choose just one. In death metal, it would be more easier, but for black metal, I don't have a clear winner. For United States of America, Abzu and Judas Iscariot would be my favorite American black metal bands. Really great bands, which people should be more listening to. What else? Yes, Lord of Cage review will be incoming when I've actually seen the movie properly. Let's see it later on. What else? what would have happened if Euronymous stayed in the band? Well, I think Mayhem would have been there before Dimmu Borgir became big, before Satyricon became big. I think Mayhem in general would be a way better band musically and otherwise than without him. That's, in my opinion, has been since the 90s, and still I stand with this opinion. Yeah, it might be on Amazon Prime, but I don't have Amazon Prime account at the moment. I mean, I'm Netflixing, I'm HBOing. I had Viaplay for a while, so let's see. There was some talk that Lord of Chaos should be coming to Netflix, so I'm kind of waiting for that. But if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna just rent it at some point and watch it. What else? What do I think about Christian black metal? I think Christian black metal is an oxymoron. First of all, it shouldn't be called black metal because I think it's not black metal when you kind of remove all the elements that make it kind of a black metal. I would call it white metal. And for example, there's this one band which I just cannot remember. Its Latin name used to be kind of a satanic black metal band from Sweden. Then they kind of turned into Catholic or something other. I think kind of old school Catholic Christianity, and started playing Christian black metal. Reverum in Malaket or something like that. I don't remember the name, but it wasn't a good black metal. But Christian black metal is kind of a joke to me. It's an oxymoron. What do I think of Darkest progression as a band after the trilogy? Well, I don't think Tage was never one of the better Norwegian bands, and I still don't think they have reached to any better level. It's always been quite near to good, well, the best bands, but never been there. So I don't know. I'm not a big Tage fan. I mean, they're doing quite all right, but it's not like a band I am a fan of, basically. Sunshine without welfare or darkness with welfare? Make your pick. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing. Obviously, it's a tough question to ask. What else? What else? Have you seen the Doors movie? Actually, I skipped it. I know I should be watching it, but I kind of skipped it, so I still haven't seen it to this day. Yeah, Finns can handle a lot of things with Sisu, but also we have lots of people depressed. So, Mötley movie I already commented earlier today. Just to let you know, Markalo is a great one. Just watch it today. What else? Hi, GD Snuff. Nice to have you here. And what do I think of black metal from Mediterranean zones or South America? Well, they are very barbaric. Good areas to create black metal from, because I mean, first of all, South America, they're crazy fanatic people, very creative, and I think they have more reasons to be kind of a anti Christian and whatnot, because let's put it this way: if you come from more poorer parts of Brazil or Argentina, Chile, whatever, than say from richer countries such as Iceland, Norway, Finland, Sweden, these latter ones, they're kind of like the countries with good healthcare and everything is safe and low crime rates and whatnot. Happy places, if you will. When you go to these poorer countries where people are getting, shot because they talk the wrong way to a wrong person, they might have some, I don't know, criminal drug affiliations or whatever. Bands coming from South America, I hail them way more. I mean, they have so much more work to be, done in order to succeed than places like Finland, Norway, Iceland, Sweden, Denmark, because we live in a safe place, relatively speaking. But anyways, so it's like we live in a place where our moms and dads like, oh, you like a guitar? Here's a guitar for you, my little baby. I'm not complaining that we live in such a safe place, but I mean, here you don't have such a rebellious stuff versus the places which are more dangerous and poor. Now, Mediterranean countries are, of course, a little bit different. Not dangerous as such, maybe, but they have this kind of a strong roots when it comes to European philosophy and all that stuff. They have very unique sound, very different mindset. Sometimes from Nordic perspective, all these bands coming from Greece, Italy, Spain, whatnot, they seem a little bit odd. For one reason, their English is not that good. It's sometimes their lyrics might sound a little bit weird. They might be way warmer towards other people than cold Nordic people. But at the same time, I think they're kind of a more genuine. The thing what I don't like so much in Nordic countries is that there's lots of this poser thing. People are like trying to prove that how evil or whatever are, even though most people just want to have a relationship, a job, money, and friends. So people coming from shittier places and not posing so much, I think I value that approach way more than many other places. I hope this answers your question. I can elaborate if needed be. Yes, Reverum Ib Malacht is the band. Thank you, Pablo. That is the name I was going after. That is the Swedish band that turned from anti-Christianity to Christianity. Very weird thing. Weird thing. Chidi Snuff, great that you saw Horna. Very nice. I hope you liked it. Metalheim already went to sleep. Well, catch you later. What else? Portuguese black metal. Well, that's a kind of a tricky thing. Portugal is kind of a nice thing. There's lots of underground black metal going on. And recently, during last couple of years, I've gotten loads of digital promos coming from Portuguese scene. Very raw, very primitive bands, but to be honest, not a great band so far. I think there's lots of happening. I don't know how many people it actually is. It's just a small scene like in Iceland or others, because most of these bands are kind of anonymous. But to me, it still seems like these bands are operating on a demo level, basically. I think lots of promise there, but still no cigar. What else? What else? Talking not the first or the best. Well, it might be the best of Norwegian scene for some people, not to me anyway. What else? Let's see what else there is. Scott Metal 666 said Portuguese black metal seems to be about 3 bands with all the same members. Well, yeah, that's how I kind of feel it. I'm not saying just 3 bands or 10 bands, but seems like to me that all the bands sound very much kind of the same. It's not so diverse as it is, say, in Finland, Sweden, Norway. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misinformed, but all the bands so far I've heard seem to be coming from the same root, so to speak. Swedish death metal or United States, America or American death metal? That's a tricky question. If I had to go and choose, like, pointed in my head, I would go for the American death metal. Why? Morbid Angel. Also, D-Side, Obituary, Death, and, well, lots of other bands. I do like, of course, Swedish death metal, but I'm more the American death metal guy than Swedish death metal if I had to choose. What else? Yeah, this is a nice comment. Would be interesting if Iceland was as in this, though CC Hammersmash's face would be in reality. Yes, well, looking forward some Icelandic approach to that one. This is kind of interesting comment. I'd like to hear a Mexican band which makes black metal about like the cartels or whatever, anti-government. Well, brujeria is probably the closest you can get, but then again, it's not fully Mexican and it's definitely not black metal, but it's kind of interesting because it's doing that. Some Mexican folk stuff. Think of Hibalba. Gibalba. Great band, by the way. Um, what else? Iceland isn't extreme. I don't know who said that, but I think Iceland is pretty extreme. Um, Brujeria retarded. I don't think Brujeria is retarded. I mean, well, to each his own. Check out my Brujeria interview if you haven't seen. What else? Mediterranean black metal should more center on the historic heritage, like the Romans or ancient Greece. Yes, luckily some of them are kind of, doing that, but maybe not too much. There are still too many bands that are, I don't know, all the way from Spain, for example, and having Norwegian or Swedish song titles. That sounds batshit crazy to me. Stockholm Slaughter. It seems that I'm not able to make it as much as I would like to. Still, because day job and whatever other responsibilities there are kind of making it hard for Rauta to travel. I hope that one day we will have a budget that me and my camera crew would be going to these places and interviewing and whatnot. Yes, Tatu made a good question about getting pixelation and frame drops. Yes, I am on wireless local area network. Yes, I live in almost kind of like countryside type of thing, so this is basically on 4G connection. There's nothing that I can do to fix it. What do you think of Life Lover and Hypothermia? They're kind of interesting bands, but at the same time, I have hard time to relate to those kind of boo-hoo, my life sucks, I must do suicide kind of a thing. Depressive black metal in general is very much, in my opinion, basically the opposite of what black metal should be about. Rebellion, being strong in what you do. So depressive black metal, musically, I can enjoy it a lot. But as a subgenre, I think it's very weak and stupid subgenre. I don't know if this answers your question, but anyway. What else? What else? Is there anything else I need to say? Let's see. I'm still trying to catch up with the questions. Black metal do not need evolution / innovation. What do I think? Do I think black metal needs new stuff? Well, I think there's no hurt of getting evolution. That doesn't mean that black metal should be like post-black, or we should go forward in terms of, like, say, doing not any more religious stuff like, hey, Christianity is so last, you should come on, guys. We don't need to do that. I mean, that's kind of a bullshit. Some things are just here to, they never wear out. Some things, I'm not saying they're eternal, but they're lifelong lasting things. And as such, the evolution or progression of black metal, I think it should be more on the mental side. Say, like, I don't know, less drinking, more thinking. And people in general should be playing less rock stars, more about these so-called values that people claim to have in black metal. So black metal can evolve or progress musically as much as it wants to. I mean, why the hell not? Because without innovation, we have regression, we have stagnation. We are basically just repeating itself. For example, Norwegian scenes, why it's so great? Think it like that. If people were only copycatting, say, bands like Bathory or Celtic Frost, we would have a lot of copycats. But instead, we have bands like Immortal, we have bands like Satyricon, Darkthrone, Burzum, Dimmu Borgir, and they don't sound like each other. The thing is, like, even if you take a look at like between 1992 1994 Norwegian black metal, those bands were very different from each other. Enslaved certainly didn't sound like Darkthrone or Burzum. Uh, Immortal didn't sound like Emperor or Satyricon. Of course, there's some similarities, like this so typical black metal shrieky, screamy vocal style and Greek Highland sound and all that stuff. But if you think like how different all these bands were, despite being all young guys from a relatively small country, there was a lot of progression. You don't find lots of battery in Emperor. You don't find lots of that Celtic Frost in Immortal. Yet all those other metal bands, Venom and whatnot, might have influenced these bands less or more directly. So, of course, in that sense, I think black metal still should progress and evolve, even though our age we might feel like all the good albums are already done. Nothing good came after 1995. But I think it's a bullshit statement. I'm not a big fan of the third wave black metal myself. I'm more on the first and second wave, but I still think the bands that are evolving and pushing the boundaries of black metal forward, they're doing important stuff. What else? Banahabhain Single Malt, good one for Lone Wolf. What else? YouTube censorship account prefers President Trump over Brujeria. I don't think we should blame that much Mexican things. Mexican people can be great as any other country. It's not really that simple. Trump, I think, is very much misinformed. But like I said, I don't want to touch political topics so much. Justin, about Archgoat, yes, or Archgoat. I think it's one of the most consistent Finnish black metal bands there is. I must agree, they have been doing their own way, the very true, throughout all these years. So yes, I totally get what you mean. What else? Father beheaded in front of the son. The son is flayed alive and has herb ripped out and stabbed to the chest. Well, of course, these kind of shitty things happen, but it's not like only Mexican people are doing that. It's not like most Mexican people are doing that. Now you have to understand that criminal mentality and the criminal brutality is a different thing than what average people would do. So we cannot judge a country based on how brutal or violent the criminals are. That's my point. Cheers from Slovenia. Great place. Rauta being the most pure and honest metal channel on YouTube. Well, thank you. That's a big compliment. I don't know if it is like that, but if you say, why am to deny? Rauta tries to be as honest as possible. I believe, I'm a firm believer, if honesty is the best policy kind of a thing. I think the only way to review albums, for example, is to be honest. I cannot be lying to you guys, or the very little of integrity or whatever would just vanish right into thin air like that. Thank you for a compliment, doing good stuff. I hope we can deliver even more good stuff for you guys out there in coming months. There are Steelfest and other fests coming your way with more interviews. What do I think of Total Self-Hatred? I think the name of the band is stupid, but the music is quite good. When are you going to have the Goat Moon interview? Well, that's a tricky thing because the Goat Moon guy lives in Helsinki. They haven't been playing fests lately, so it's still under work. I'm gonna do that. but I just don't know when. As long as we have zero budget for Rauta, those interviews are a little bit tricky sometimes to set up, but it's still promised thing to do, and I try to deliver it as soon as possible. Why is Sick Hail Salute so common in Finnish black metal fests? Well, they are not really that common. Only common with certain bands, so it's relatively small group of people, like-minded when it happens to have lots of beer and sort of say group mentality, herd mentality. It's not that common really. What Rauta been asking, like, what do folks in Finland think about the EU from my perspective? Well, I think most people are rather neutral about European Union. Some people are against it, of course, and some are for it. I think most people don't even know what being part of the European Union is. I must admit that I don't know all the goods and bad sides of being part of that, but I don't have any problem being part of that. I think there's a strong power being a part of the group. You know, European more unified, has more strength against superpowers like Russia, United States, China, and whatever. Have I listened to a Peste Noir's Peste Noir? No, I have not. And as such, I don't have any opinion about their polemic trap songs and so forth. It never struck me as an interesting band, really. Have I ever listened to this simulation from Lithuania? Yes, I have, but that must have been some 10 plus years ago. I remember it being quite potential good band, but still haven't heard from the band from many years. Smegma asked, when is the shower stream? Who would like to see that? I mean, send me your money and I will deliver. Hey, there got to be some limit. I mean, I can imagine me being this high, really gorgeous Ryan Gosling type of metal guy, but come on, that would be torture for your eyes. What do Finnish metal fans think about the band Him, and are they like most popular band to come from there? I think Nightwish is more popular these days. Him is very much respected among the mainstream audience. Underground people don't just probably care. In general, I think Him has very positive, well, kind of aura around them. But I think it's more kind of a mainstream rock pop people than metal people. So I don't know. Yeah, they're super popular, or used to be, until they split up. What do I think about deathcore? Well, I think deathcore is a kind of a like. Oh, wait a second. Now I just scroll too much. What do you think about deathcore? Deathcore is a mild version of death metal, the combination of metalcore and death metal. I think it's a kind of a hybrid that we don't need. But I mean, I'm not here to judge. If you like Lady Gaga or if you like metalcore or mallcore bands, well, that doesn't concern me. But I think deathcore is kind of a pussy ass version of death metal. Deza didn't sound like Obituary, didn't sound like Morbid Angel, didn't sound like Brutality. What's my point? Well, what to say? I think all those American bands, they're very much different and very much the same. As such, I value diversity. Much like I said in the Norwegian bands, black metal bands things, is that different bands creating this wonderful pool of different music. I think it's a great thing. Spellgoth, yes, I think he said he's a fan of Him. Spellgoth in general, he has a quite wide liking for different kind of music, if that makes a point. Mayhem was pretty weird for a black metal band. Attila was very theatrical, and consider Mayhem was very unique. Yes, all those points are true. I think that Mayhem would have been a lot better band if Euronymous were to survive and take the band to the next level, so to speak. Music is all about nostalgia. Well, yes and no. I don't think all the music is that much about nostalgia. When you're older, definitely more. When you're younger, not so much. Back then, when I was like 18, all the new metal bands almost sounded great. I don't know if I were if I was young when metalcore came into the thing, would I have liked it? I don't know. Would I have been into Trivium or I don't know, Five Finger Death Punch and bands like Bullet for My Valentine? Would I have liked them if I was 18? I don't know. I think it's possible because all these bands are, kind of products of their environment and time, the era. So who knows? It's easy to judge them when you're like 40 or something like that. You're like, I don't like bands that came like after 91. They were all bullshit new school bands. But then again, if you were like, I don't know, 40 in 2050, maybe you're like, I think bands like Five Finger Death Punch, they were the only real deal. Older bands, oh, they're way too old. Nobody cares to listen to Slayer or Black Sabbath. They are relics. So I think we're all victims of our own era. What else? Is American black metal taken seriously in Finland, Sweden, Norway? I don't know about Norway because they have sometimes their heads way too deep in their ass. But American black metal is taken seriously when we're talking about more underground, dedicated people. For example, if you'd ask Satanic War Masters Werewolf about American black metal, he would be probably dropping same kind of names that I would be dropping, like, Black Funeral or Bon or Judas Iscariot and things like that, Krieg, among other bands when we're talking about American black metal, Absu, not to mention. But I think people who are less, have less understanding about bands around Nordic countries are probably thinking about American black metal bands the very same ways as we were talking earlier about, American beers. They all taste like Budweiser. Americans can't make any real beer. Americans can't make black metal. It's all made in Norway. Get my point? I hope so. What else? What else? And yeah, one more thing about Mexico. I was in Mexico, this kind of a tourist attraction place, but anyway, I loved it. So I just have to say that in Mexico, they're beautiful and great places. Not everything is ruled by criminality, crime. About Archgoat. Still, I must mention that many people seem to forget that they're kind of like between death metal and black metal, and it's funny to see how often people from the black metal scene are kind of like saying that they don't like death metal. But it seems like they don't like death metal when death metal bands are not singing about the very same topics as black metal bands. And sometimes it seems like this battle between death metal and black metal is all about death metal being more fun. And that kind of takes us back to these early 90s Norwegian black metal things. Euronymous rules and whatnot. No core, no fun, no friends, no trends, kind of a thing. So it was kind of related to this, death metal bands are more fun. They don't have their lyrics so seriously, whatever. They're just singing about those crimes and whatnot, smoking weed and whatever. But I don't think it's that simple, really, because lots of black metal bands are as much as about fantasy lyrics as, well, death metal are. So in that sense, death metal versus black metal, it's not really that simple. Human is just a shit animal. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yes, Best Noir question was already asked before. I said it's not my cup of tea, and it's still not. Um, what else? Aguascalientes, Mexicos by Salvador. Salvador. Great to have some Mexican fans here. Mexico, great place. Great food, great people. What else? Some group mentality like that at Suomalainen Pohja today. I need to know what was going on with there. I mean, never been in that. I've never been into that restaurant. I know just the place and doesn't look like very tempting. Um, what other metal review channels I follow myself? Unfortunately, I have to concentrate on my own channel. It's not because I love myself so much. I really don't like myself all that much. But the thing is, I don't have the time. I guess it would be beneficial for Rauta as well to check out other channels and get the kind of perspective what others are doing. But then again, I try to not to copy anyone here. I'm just trying to do my own shit in good and bad. And there are probably a lot of good metal channels out there, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to do that. What do I think about bands like Summoning or Caledon Brood? Caledon Brood has always escaped me for some reason or not. Summoning, never been that much of a Summoning fan. I kind of like what they're doing with the Tolkien stuff. I mean, they're really focusing on their own way of music and topics and whatnot. But for me, it's maybe too much this kind of a fantasy part, like bling 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 stuff. I don't know. I just don't find the epicness in that. I understand why people are kind of into that kind of stuff, but never been much of my cup of tea. Lone Wolf asked me how many people are involved in the whole Rauta thing. I mean, I mean, he means that I'm the YouTube face, but are you doing everything by your own, or do I have helping people? But obviously, with interviews, I have a couple of people operating with camera, which I'm very thankful, and the other one also helps or edits all the videos. I mean, interviews that is. So with interviews, I'm getting quite a lot of help because I couldn't, move the camera around at the same time I'm doing this kind of like whatever. What I'm doing reviews at home and opinion videos. Well, that is most of the videos. Like 95% of the videos I'm just doing by myself alone. There's one guy who is setting all these pictures for the kind of a preview pictures and the posting on them on Facebook. He's helping me with. He's kind of a producer of sorts. He's not a metalhead as much, but well, kind of is anyway. And he's also helping me with the Discord channel. So basically, we're like 4 people in total. But it's not like I'm gonna take anything away from them, but it's mostly done by me. Like I said, with interviews, I kind of have to depend, unless it's me and my laptop, that is, or me and my smartphone and microphone. I'm kind of depending on people to help me out with the interviews because it's not so easy to do unless it's fixed position camera, that is. So basically 4 people, but it's like me doing the 95% of the stuff here. I hope that explains a little bit how this works. What's the best band from Hyvinkä? Might be Vargrave at the moment, I think. I haven't yet heard their second album. All the Finnish black metal bands that are generally disliked by the local scene, well, Ravenstorm used to be a lot, but I don't know if there nowadays any particular one band that is like in general disliked, because we don't have those goofy bands around, not anymore anyway. So most bands are just cool in so many ways. I guess sort of younger wannabe bands, poser bands, whatever, might be a little bit kind of a dislike, but not in general. So even though Finnish black metal scene is not probably seen as open-minded as such, and might be a little bit prejudiced, I still think people are relatively quite okay with new bands. Do I check Parrier Cult on YouTube? Well, unfortunately, I don't have time to check anything on YouTube these days, especially if it's music. I'm very too stuck with physical and digital promos. Can I interview Imbel Nazarene soon? Well, actually, I've done Finnish video interview prior to making Rauta. I know it's not much consolidation to you. I kind of hope that I could interview them for Rauta as well during next Steelfest, but nothing is yet set up. I tried to interview Imbel Nazarene at Steel Chaos, but that wasn't possible for some reason. So let's see, I can do that. Samael would be very nice to interview as well, but I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. It's out of my hands at the time. What is my opinion about medieval black metal bands like Subhofer or Vehemence? Well, I'm not sure if I have heard Vehemence. The so-called medieval bands. Well, the thing is, it depends on the way they're doing the melodies and whatnot. Sometimes they're really cool, really cool. For example, Isengard, if that would be taken into count. In this case, I would say yes, definitely nice, but most of the times these kind of uber melodic so-called folk metal, black metal bands tend to be too happy for my taste. So I kind of like them, but not too much, to be honest. I want more darkness and violence and brutality in my music, so I'd rather probably go for thrash metal, death metal, or than just more traditional black metal. Which Mexican metal bands have I had the chance to listen? Well, there are quite a few. I don't remember all of them, but I can say one band above them all: Hibalba, Sibalba. Let's see what else there is. Mexican isn't a race. No, it's not. 60,000 murders in Brazil last year, over 7,000 in Mexico. Well, that's quite of a difference. YouTube censor account. Thank you for understanding me being non-political. Yes, because I'm a non-political person. When it comes to the cartels and ISIS, I think we're gonna skip those topics. What else? How close I am to the Russian border? Well, a few hundred kilometers. I'm closer to Sweden than Russia because I live in Turku, which is the southwest part of Finland. So this is closer to Germany than to Russia. Have I ever been across the border to the Russian side? When I was in my mother's stomach, I never I never traveled to Russia myself. Nope. Are the Russians who live close to the Finnish border similar Finns? You might have to ask people like Satanic Bormaster and the like about it, who live in close to the Russian border. I don't know, but I guess they are quite the same. Have I ever heard the band called Volan? Yes, I have. Well, it was quite okay, but not that good in my opinion. I haven't heard much of it. I think only like one released or so. That was a couple of years ago, I think. So not a fan, but I remember the band. Cold World from Germany. Well, I think Cold World is a little bit to my maybe too much. Hey, wait a second. I just lost the track of scrolling. A Cold World. It's kind of too gothic in my opinion, in a way. Nice melodies in a way, but kind of like I don't know, too much synth for myself. Not a bad band, but I don't know. I wouldn't have them on my record collection. From Mexico, Black Hate, Mordskog, Ex Inferis Putrefact. I think I have heard Mordskog. It's very familiar name. Have I ever Meleth? No, I only know the name, but I haven't checked out Meleth. Maybe because it's NSPM band. Never got that much interested in it, but nah, never checked it. Houston is basically Mexico mixed with Ireland now. Now I want to go to Houston, have some Texan food. So at Suomalainen Pohja there was this awakening event. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Thank you, MMs, for the nice shirt comment. What else? What else? What else? There are lots of political talk. Katamania. I don't know if Katamania is that much disliked by Finnish scene. I think it's just like whatever. Who gives a shit about the band? What is my favorite Rockstar video game? Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5. What is my opinion of Desecrator's Metal for Demons? I think it's a crappy black trash album. I remember when it came out, I had quite a high expectations for it because, for example, Our Noir is a great band, and what the hell is this? Dimborger guys, Nocturnal Breed. That is another great black trash band from Norway, but Desecrator Metal for Demons, it is a weak album. Totally useless side project, in my opinion. What else? What is my opinion of Saur? I don't think it's a really that great band, if I remember correctly. Not my cup of tea. What is my opinion about Greek black metal? Why? Well, I think it's a very an interesting scene. I mean, bands like Rotting Christ and others like Thor Our Lord and others of those bands. They have very unique sound, mortuary drape and all that stuff. Most of them are not that appealing to me, but I like what the Greek scene is doing. I mean, it's very unique, and I don't know. I think something in Greek people that I find fascinating, and all the Greeks I've met have been really nice. So I think there's some fascination about the scene more than the actual bands. If I had to name my favorite Greek black metal band, I would say Raven Cult. It's very Dark Thronies, but it's just great band. I'm still lagging with this back scrolling. I tried to get you up with this, so sorry for the delay with my replies. Do I vote? Well, I'm not gonna vote. I must say. Am I a boxing fan? No, I'm more a self-defense fan. I don't follow much sports. I used to do mixed martial arts, but not really. Basically, the only sports I follow nowadays is American football, and I know it's mostly not interesting to most people here in Finland or in Europe. An interview with Nuclear Holocaust of Vengeance from Beherit. Well, I can tell you that much. A couple of years ago, I sent him a Facebook message to an inquiry that would it be possible to do an interview with him. Still, no reply so far. He probably never got the message. I'm trying to figure out which way to reach to Beherit guy. So merit interview would be very, very nice to do, but I don't have a connection to that guy at the moment. What else? Any thoughts to be a comedy or voice actor so much? Um, Lone Wolf comments, it's highly entertaining when I do these voices. Oh, so nice to get you comment on that. Yeah, it's really nice to do these kind of stuff. Well, I mean, if this kind of work for a voice acting would be coming to this, coming to me, if this was like send a request to do voice acting, I would totally do it if it was interesting enough. I mean, I like to play with voices, a different type of voices. It's so fun to make these characters every now and then, and to do some German hateful thinking. So yes, voice acting would be fun. Nobody has yet to call me about that kind of work, and I haven't applied to anything like that. But would be kind of nice. It's nice to fool around with these different kind of voices. Could the new waves of liberalism and feminism affect metal in general? Well, I doubt it. I mean, feminism don't exactly have much, say, interest in metal music. They are more in the other areas of life than metal itself. So I don't think liberal people, metal is way too small for that. I don't think metal sucks means shit, to be honest. More, lots of talk about nothing. What else? I'm a bald white man. Come to Houston and what white? You do not like what you find. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Won't I like what I find? Well, it depends what I find. If I find myself stabbed to death, I probably won't like that. But you know, like for me, I don't have problems with races. I don't have problem with genders. I don't have problem with lots of things. Well, in general, what I have problem with are religious people. If Houston is filled with that, then probably so. But then again, there's also Space Center in Houston. Antimatter is still a band that has escaped me, so I don't have an opinion about that. Wargrave is great. Well, not maybe great, but it's good. I can imagine there's good food in Houston. Which is my favorite band from Spain or Italy? To be honest, they are not any favorites from neither country. Both countries have a lot of history and they excel in many other things, but not so much in metal. I probably have some Italian or Spanish bands in my record collection, like Forgotten Tomb from Italy, but most Italian and Spanish bands don't actually, unfortunately, are not that good. Principles of Personal Defense by late Jeff Cooper, a great little read. That sounds an interesting tip. I put back in my mind. Am I expecting much from new Doctrine album? Nope. Arctic Thunder, in my opinion, was one of the better albums from Doctrine in like last 10 years, but it's still not something that I'm like going yippee about it. It wasn't that great, to be honest. So I have very moderate expectations about new Doctrine. Would I ever interview Vag Vikernes? Definitely I would. If Rauta ever becomes speaker and Vag Vikernes would be open for Rauta interview, I would, buy flight tickets right away. But I don't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately, for various reasons. Why I don't listen background music while streaming? That's a good question. First of all, my camera is kind of like this webcam I'm using. It's kind of like taking the sound like this. Secondly, YouTube doesn't exactly like when you use copyright material on your videos, so I don't want to risk, losing the video because of that. But let's see about that in the future. You're Saints fan, Tree Duck. Oh, nice, really cool. My team is New England Patriots, and for this reason, somebody actually asked me that during some video comments. I'm a Patriots fan because Boston was my original landing spot when coming to the United States of America for the first time, and I fell in love with the city, the atmosphere, and whatnot. So I figured maybe I should just go for Patriots. And this was, by the way, before I realized how good team they were. So some people call like bandwagon jumper or whatever, but to be honest, I couldn't care less. I love the city, and I thought that, hey, maybe I should be a Patriots fan because I like the city. So if I would have gone to Oakland, for example, originally, I would be probably face palming and changing the team because, well, you probably know as an American football fan how Raiders are not the best team in the NFL. What else? Good voices. Oh, well, glad you like my goofy voices. LTA gives you a nice robot voice. Well, that's good. YouTube censorship account. Yes, I know what you mean. Some people might find me offensive just because I'm a white bald guy. I do get that, but it is what it is. That's why it's not like a good idea, for example, to travel into Muslim countries if you're like a woman, for example. What else? Clark is an intelligent person. He might be, but he's also very controversial and contradicting with himself every now and then. Do I play black metal riffs by myself? Well, yes, I do have a band called Annihilatus. I will type the name here so you will get to check it out on Bandcamp. Hold on. That is my band, so you will find a lot of my riffing there. You might not like it, but at least you get to hear what I do with the guitar. Copyright-free black metal, yes. This kind of a soundtrack or ambient music might be, cool to have with the stream. I don't know, maybe. What is my opinion about crust punk bands? Well, I don't know if crust exactly belongs to black metal scene. Of course, it also depends on how we define crust. But to be honest, I don't know. It's like beyond black metal, so to say. So it's like useless. What else? Do I like Aussie rules football? Well, I must say I don't know Aussie rules football. I should check it out some point, but I don't know the rules. Street smart goes a long way. Yes, that's totally true. I mean, wherever you go, be smart about it. Be nice to people. In general, don't be a douchebag, and in general helps you a lot in life. No matter what age, what you look like, what you wear, whatever you do, being nice and not being an idiot helps a lot. Communism doesn't belong to black metal. We could say that politics belong to black metal, in my opinion, because black metal should be kind of like a free zone when it comes to politics. I don't think there's room for any kind of politics, to be honest. That's just me saying. Um, was I in Tuska 2014? Which bands were in Tuska 2014? I don't think I was, but I don't remember actually. I'm pretty sure I wasn't. Also, rules football game. Intense. Okay. I must say, I don't know the rules. I cannot say about it. What do I think is the best 2019 Extreme Metal Festival? It's hard to say because in advance, you don't get to know how cool those fests are. Just because on based what you see as lineup, that doesn't mean it's a cool festival. So really, I don't know. Black metal has always leaned toward nationalism. I don't think that's actually true. It depends. I mean, if you take a look at Norwegian bands, probably more so than with other countries, because to be honest, Norway is kind of a really proud country when it comes, being kind of independent. They are not part of the European Union. They're kind of independent. They're a rich country and all that stuff. So Norway has been kind of a more proud about their nature and nation than other countries. But if you look at other bands, from other parts than around Nordic countries, I don't think nationalism has played in general a big part of black metal. It's certain bands flirt with the idea more than the others, but I think there are lots of bands who don't just give a damn. Saturday Gone is gay. Well, gay in a hey, funny, nice way, or gay like you don't do that. Saturn probably gets to do lots of these. Probably. Just guessing. Do I watch pro wrestling? I used to watch SmackDown and what's called Raw, like some early 2000 something, 2004, 2005, or whatever. It is kind of a macho, bold, and the beautiful, kind of a soap opera with contact. But to be honest, I got kind of a bored after a couple of years. Entertaining every now and then, but not a fan of it. It can be fun, but not a fan. Tree Duck, yes, you've probably seen me with the Patriot shirt. Actually, I think, and this might sound ridiculous, but I probably have more Patriot shirts than any given band shirts. And I have quite a few Slayer shirts because Slayer is the best. But still, I probably have more Patriot shirts because different years I figure out hey, I want to get a new fan product for my collection. I need a new long sleeve. Oh, suddenly I find myself having ordered a new Patriot shirt. So yeah, that happens. I know a lot of people hate because the Pats because they win so much, but I mean it's easy to hate bands that become commercially successful. It's easy to hate sport brands or teams that are successful. I think it happens in every aspects of life, so it is what it is. And to be honest, I like every team that has a good quarterback, good players. So like you said, Belichick and Tom Brady, they're cool, but there are other players as well. Some really good quarterbacks. Saints is fun to watch because they have Drew Brees and such like that. And I like you mentioned Peyton. And there are, good teams. That's more that counts. And the Irish black metal I like. Now I can't get any particular favorites in my head because not too many Irish black metal bands I've heard. I've heard some, but I just can't remember any of them like right now. Altar of Plagues, I think I've heard that some point, but I don't remember like knowing that very well. Paul Ledney of Profanity had his own base like no NSPM in his page about you. That's interesting. Blue Division. Yes, I know that bands like Satanic War Nazarene, Bel Nazarene, and White Death are kind of a national bands. Yes, and the reason why I didn't mention is that like those and like Goat Moon are surely kind of a more patriotic, more nationalistic bands. But then again, most bands are not. Think of like B-Hex and Baptism, Archgoat, and you could go on with the list, Berit, Paratrum, and lots of bands. They don't have anything at all to do with that. So in general, I don't think most black metal bands are nationalist by nature. What is my opinion on French black metal? Well, French black metal could be divided into two categories. There's this more melodic style, which definitely has its own sound, much like Swedish black metal has its own melodic sound. And then there's this more raw style, which is more like bands like now I need, by the way, another beer. They're more like bands like say, let's go for Portteri. They're bands like, wait a second, where is my bottle opener? Bands like, Vlad Tepes and the like, so which are more raw. So hey, who needs an opener when you have like this? Oh, great. Do you see what is happening? It's all pouring down here. I don't have anything to wipe. Shit. That was a grand mistake. Hold on for a sec. So French black metal scene is a very interesting kind of thing to happen because they do have their own sound and way of creating this creativity into a black metal they are doing. But I mean, most French black metal bands are not that good. There's surely definitely better bands in French black metal. But I mean, it's still a handful of really, really good and strong bands. Black Legion's bands are probably among the best bands to come from France. But it's not like the whole country is like a fruit basket, especially if you compare it to Sweden or Norway. What else? Yeah, well, Saturicon definitely has this kind of we're rock dudes. We play black metal. I think they started with a different angle, but once Satur and the rest, mainly Satur, had this kind of idea that actually you can be really successful with black metal. I think he might have understood that with bands like Dimmu Borgir and whatnot. I think then Satur kind of got this idea that hey, actually a black metal band could be successful kind of rock band, not Metallica type of a way, but more like this kind of somewhat big band. And that's where this kind of a commercial approach probably came from. Also, it might be something to do with aging and whatnot, but yeah, Saturicon definitely has its kind of a weird ways. I've actually went through a lot of those with the Saturicon videos I made. I don't hate the band, obviously. I actually love the early material, but it's kind of a goofy band. What? You saw Slayer only one time in Houston, 1995. Well, that's a weird thing. I've saw Slayer like many, many times. And Cardell went to sleep, I guess. Thanking me for the great reviews. Thank you. Primordial is the best Irish band for me. Well, that's kind of a given because there's not much competition for Primordial. Is it black metal? Not really. Will I ever have interview with VKS from Druadan Forest and Wargrave? I don't know. I know the guy, but to be honest, I don't know if he wants to do video interviews. I can ask him at some point, but I know he's a guy who doesn't, move a lot from Hyvinkää. So I don't think it's very, very likely to happen. Do I like ice hockey? No, I don't. I find it quite boring. I'm a bad Finnish person in that sense that I don't like ice hockey. I don't like to play it. I'm a bad skater and I just don't find it, tempting. Melbourne, Australia, Diego 11 is back. Well, that's a good morning for you, Australian friend. Do you have fans or thoughts of Arcos Land? Well, never been my cup of tea. Well, they're definitely doing kind of a unique stuff, but not exactly my cup of tea so much. Well, this is a tough cookie. What is the best Swedish black and death metal band? If that is supposed to mean a black/death hybrid, tough cookie. If unanimated counts as such, that would be one contender. If dissection is counted as both genres, that would be probably my choice. Necrophobic is one of the better ones. What else? Usually one of those hybrid bands are not that good. They're not my favorites, but those are some examples of those Black Death bands. What else? Did I manage to get a date with that hot chick from the Starbucks wrestling? No, no, I didn't ask her for a date. She had a way too big a cross hanging around her neck to Christian to no. Well, no. Was a nice girl though. Or lady. Hey Udzog, where are you from? What is my favorite black metal album if I can name one? Under a Funeral Moon, probably, along with Storm of the Light's Bane. Thoughts of progressive metal? Well, I think progressive metal is great genre. I'm not a big fan of the genre as such, but I think it's one of the most direly needed genre because, well, progressive metal is pushing the boundaries for all other metal genres in general. So I think all kind of progressive music is kind of needed. So kind of a hard because it's kind of acquired taste music. You have to always be on the kind of on the edge, ready to adapt to the next thing what might be happening. But I like how skilled many players in the progressive rock or progressive metal genre, how the people are like. I mean, the drummers, bass players, vocalists, guitarists. I think it's really, really cool to have those genres, even though I don't listen to that very much. What else? Would I be willing to give my take on NSBM? Yeah, why not? If there's a certain angle I could address, there's a lot to talk about NSBM. in good and bad. It's not a topic I'm afraid to talk about. It's not my favorite topic genre to listen to bands to, but I could totally like make a video out of it if I just figure out what would be the angle, what would be the reason. What does Rauta mean? Rauta means iron. It's metal, ferrum in Latin. So I still have the old introduction video to Rauta channel where I'm at the gym. And like I say, let's put metal on metal, like the Anvil song goes about. It's kind of a wordplay related to my workout things, pumping iron and all that stuff. And well, obviously metal music. So it's kind of a wordplay thing. When it was created, when me and the other people doing stuff for Rauta were figuring out what would be the cool name for metal music related channel, what would be easy to find, when you're Googling about it. And we ended up Rauta. What else? So Horna was cancelled in Denver because of ties to an NSBM band. That's just some bullshit affiliation thing. I can't even bother. Does this happen in Finland or Scandinavia at all? Very, very little. It sometimes might happen. What is my thoughts on war metal? Now you hit the spot. I'm a big fan of war metal. Not so much about all these black death metal blasphemy copycat bands, but in terms of bringing, war theme into the music of black metal, I think it's very fascinating. You have ever checked the lyrics of my band Annihilatus, then you actually understand way better what I think about war and war metal. But war metal, when it's all about just creating these chaotic riffs, fast-paced and whatnot, just without any good song structures, without any good riffs, I think it's mostly waste of time. Rauta doesn't mean steel. Rauta means iron. Oh, it's like it's from Mexico. Nice. I just was in Mexico 3 months ago. Great place. What else? Favorite of the band, Sargeist, Bhexen, Horna. Probably Bhexen musically. Horna maybe as a live band. Roasted potatoes with rosemary sprinkled on the top of sweet Italian sausages. Sounds like an awesome dinner. What else? Ryan, thank you for loving Rauta content. Thank you. I tried to be entertaining because it would be just boring to be all 100% informative, but I try to be informative as well because I think the information is what we are all about. By the way, since I promised to do with the Laitilan people, mentions what we are drinking. Now I'm having a Lakritsi Portteri. Portteri meaning porter, beer. Lakritsi meaning licorice. So this is kind of a dark beer with the kind of a candy taste, the dark Finnish type of candy. This is, this taste is being created with Kouvolan Lakritsi, which is the best Finnish licorice. If you ever come to Finland and you love licorice, taste Kouvolan Lakritsi. This is very, very dark, almost black beer, as you can see. Ooh, very nice. Nice taste here. Best Norwegian black metal punk band. I wouldn't call Iljarn punk band, but Iljarn is one of the best black metal bands from Norway, period. Panzer Division Marduk is a good example of war metal or war themed black metal. I think it's way more war metal than so-called war metal bands. So that's my point exactly. What else? What else? Truppensturm. I don't think I have heard that one. I must say. I must say. What do I think about Celestial Bloodshed, Whoredom Rife, One Tail, One Head? Celestial Bloodshed, pretty good. Whoredom Rife, definitely good. One Tail, One Head, not really good in my opinion. I actually reviewed One Tail, One Head's album not too many months ago. I didn't find that very fascinating. I think there's lots of hype versus the actual music. Whoredom Rife was great live, and the album they made is also great. Good recommendation. Celestial Bloodshed is pretty good also. Yeah, I don't want to kick people out. I mean, as long as you can behave, act civil, just talk. Yes, Lakritsi Portteri, that is this beer. Kind of a specific taste. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but definitely something you should be trying out. A beer that I would really recommend. Well, one of my all-time mainstreamish favorites, that is beer that is still available, not a limited edition, would be Punk IPA. Available in many places. That's one of the kind of long-timer favorites. Also, Scalpin IPA would be something. Guinness is always a great choice. What else? Well, let's start with those anyway. Guinness in the bottle, or Guinness, having poured into your glass in Dublin. Oh, mouth foaming experience, really. Well, I tried to actually interview Marduk, but last time they didn't even bother replying to my email. I tried to interview them at Steel Chaos. I don't know. Would it be possible to even interview them if their promoter doesn't even bother replying to email? Yes, Punk IPA is by Brewdog, one of my all-time favorites. What about Demilich? Am I a fan of their music? I wouldn't call myself a fan. I mean, it's one of those old-timer Finnish death metal bands, which is kind of a cult thing, but it's not my favorite thing. What else? Guinness, good choice, Tim. Always a good choice. Why mostly Finnish BM musicians are like they're bored when they are on stage? Well, it has a lot to do with this Finnish mentality. Like being kind of like introvert, not being kind of a pro artist, the way of Satyr or Satyricon is like. So I think it's actually this kind of a lack of self-confidence, lack of experience, and also trying to be kind of a cool, not going for the audience like, hey, come on, everybody, clap your hands. This is like the opposite, like, oh, let's just watch elsewhere. I don't want to take a look at the audience. I just want to, speak these words out. I'm just trying to avoid the eye contact. I think that's one of the reasons. What else? Would I interview Gal on Steelfest? I would definitely like to do that. I actually interviewed Gal with King of Hell in Inferno Fest around 2004 in Norway. That was a video interview. So he wasn't that bad of a guy. I don't know if he does video interviews, but it would be definitely interesting to do that. I would have specific questions to him if that was a possible thing to do. Kozel from Czech is quite decent. It's not that great, but it's very easy to drink. Mm, Guinness and Paulaner are very, very different. Yes. What region or city in Finland has the bigger metal scene? I guess Tampere. Tampere is nowadays, I think, the second biggest city in Finland, and many black metal bands from Finland are operating around Tampere area. Bands like BX and Sargeist, Baptism, Horna. If you're talking metal in general, I would say Helsinki and the other metropolitan area, just because like 1/5 of Finnish population is living in that area. So all in all, Helsinki would be kind of a center of all music, no matter what the genre. But if we're talking about kind of a specific bands and especially black metal bands, I would say Tampere. What is a giddly diddler? Three goats killing the troll, yes. Well, yeah, Ylöjärvi is basically Tampere region anyway. If I'm not mistaken, also this one guy who plays in Goat Moon, but has his own band. What the hell is the band called? One of the kind of NSBM guys is from Ylöjärvi as well. Ylöjärvi is basically the same Tampere scene. Okay. Okay. That's a kiddie dealer. Okay. Alrighty. That is Michael Jackson. Actually, I met Gal with his almost teenager boyfriend at Wacken Festival in around 2008 or so, and I took a fan picture with Gal and his boyfriend, and his boyfriend just seemed like I don't want to be here. I just want to go on a retreat with my boyfriend, while Gal was like grim. Um. Well, it seems that Jackson molested kids, at least with this Leaving Neverland documentary, which I started earlier this week, not finished it. This documentary actually had very graphic stories about Michael Jackson, touching little kids' penises and masturbation and, well, having sex with 7 years old. So, yes, it certainly sounds very much like that. Yeah, Molestro Kadotus also lives in Ylöjärvi and other people. ODS, ODSM, old school dead metal, you mean? Favorite band or album? Well, depends how you define old school. If Torture Killer would count, I would definitely say Torture Killer would be my favorite dead metal band from Finland. But does it really count as old school? I don't know. What is my opinion of Kauan? Uh, I don't know if I actually heard the band. Yes, now you mentioned Somi and I. We were just joking with my band member Chad about the album. Russian guys singing in Finnish. Uh, I heard some samples and it sounded good, but I haven't heard the full album. That sounds an interesting one. Yes, that Leaving Neverland documentary is it's very hard thing to kind of follow, especially if you have kids. What do I recommend to see in Helsinki the day before Steelfest? Uh, I'm not a Helsinki specialist. Depends. Do you want to see more like nature or city? Maybe I would say to go to Suomenlinna, which is an old citadel, which was used in wartime or whatnot. There you have some really nice island views. That is something I could totally recommend for checking out, especially during the kind of warmer times. Nice views. They say some food place and brewery and whatnot. So I think that would be a good idea to check out. But if you're only like one day in Helsinki, then in general you just might, fool around the city. Maybe head for some hipster beer bars at Kallio area. I don't know. Depends what you want to see. Is it more like museums or bars or nature? Totally depends on what you want. Well, yeah, Michael Jackson probably had mental issues, but that is not. That doesn't mean there's so many different kind of mental issues. Having one kind of mental issue is one thing. Having a relationship of sexual nature with kids is totally another thing. What are my thoughts of Australian black metal? I think Australian black metal scene is very strong. It's very different from European ones. I like it. Bands like Abyssic Hay, Destroy 666, Naxul, Razor of Occam, and lots of interesting bands. I think Australia has kind of this sort of more rebellious, more I don't care kind of mentality, more brave, more violent than so many Nordic countries. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm just packing a little bit of these beers. I need to get to sleep soon, so I'm just kind of just doing some preparation here. Favorite Greek bands? Well, I think I already mentioned some of those, but I would say Raven Cult is my all-time favorite Greek band. Um, do I like horror films? Not so much because most horror films don't actually get me feel scared. Most horror films make me actually feel like jumping onto the side of the horror itself. There's good movies such as The Thing, which I think has really creepy atmosphere. Also, movies like the original Alien, very strong with its horror theme. But so many other horror flicks are like, why they just don't die? Because they're stupid and they deserve to die. I have not yet interviewed Goat Moon, but I have promised to do that. So Goat Moon interview is still coming your way, I hope. YouTube censorship account wants to go to red light district. Well, there's not such thing in Finland. I mean a proper one anyway. But red light districts in Amsterdam or Brussels are the place to be. What do I think about Drowning the Light? You mean the band? Uh, it's okay, I guess. What is in the water that makes so many great bands come from Tampere? I think it's more like about like-minded people getting around with each other, inspired by each other, and all that stuff. Um, I mean, it's not purely coincidental that some kind of bands come from. You have to understand, Tampere is a big city in Finnish scale, that is, but it's more like this. There are only handful of people having handful of bands. Bands like Sargeist, Horna, Baptism, and what others. They have overlapping members. If you even if you count some of the Helsinki-based bands, like once again, Sargeist or True Black Dawn, they have same members in different brands, Trollheim Squad included. So it's not like you have 50 different bands. Like these guys are Horna, these guys are Sargeist, these guys are Behexen, but it's more like these guys playing these three bands and these two guys playing these four bands. It's more like that. What else? Yeah, Raven Cult is really, really strong band. Have I watched the Nicolas Cage movie Mandy? No, I have not. Omen, that is some old school horror film and actually a good one. Yes, I saw it as a kid. I would still probably recommend. Also, The Exorcist. YouTube censorship account. I totally say that go for the red light district. When I was in Amsterdam, being a single guy, during 4 days or so, I went to try those ladies for like 4 times. It was a lot of fun. Weed, mushrooms, and whores. What a great short trip to Amsterdam with a few friends. Do I know any one-person bikers that get into extreme metal? Not personally. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people like that, a lot, but no, I don't personally know any of them. Tampere's band scene has been going strong outside black metal as well. Yeah, probably so. Lots of studios, like you said, and well, when the city is bigger, it's easier to get connected. That goes any other places as well. Like I said earlier in this stream, when we're talking about Mötley Crüe movie, um, when you have places like Los Angeles, it's easier to get, networking going on and find the gigs and the places to do that stuff versus smaller cities, and small towns. Yes, unless you're married, definitely test red light district places. I mean, what do you got to lose anyway? Good looking ladies serving you for the money you are paying for them. It's just like going eat outside. If one has not heard Goat Moon, where should in their discogs should they start? To be honest, I don't know. I'm not a Goat Moon fan as such. It's not that appealing band to me. Not only because they're NSBM, but also music-wise. I don't know. I can't really recommend anything. Stella Polaris might be a good choice. It's the latest one, I think. Pispala means that don't be here. Okay, that's a nice thing to know. Didn't know that was a thing in French. How good is my guitar playing? Crappy. I have choked already like 15 years ago that I'm probably the crappiest guitar player ever in Finland to record an album. I am that crappy. I think I'm more like the kind of a Sex Pistols type rather than Skillet. I want because I'm really lazy. And actually, a drummer said to me that maybe because you are so crappy as a guitar player, you get to create riffs that other bands probably wouldn't even try. So I guess my limitations as a guitar player kind of push me to create certain kind of riffs the other people wouldn't think of. That's what I've been told anyway. I don't know what the truth is, and I don't, to be honest, care. I don't know. I just don't find playing guitar to myself very fascinating. I'd rather just work out with iron. I know it's kind of a backward thinking. Some people might think that as a band member I should be playing more guitar and less doing deadlifts and squats and whatnot. But to be honest, I don't care. I just mostly play at rehearsal plays and rarely at home. Even though I have one guitar here, which I guess I could show you. Hold on. Now, this is my original guitar I actually bought from my drummer. I think I got this around 1998, 1999 maybe. I'm not sure. As you see, this is lacking the other E because it's actually missing from here as well. I don't know what's the word for English like that. So this is just cheap Jackson PS1. The other one I have is actually the same, but with better mics, and actually there is a string, another E string. This is dusty as hell, as you can see. I haven't played it for months now at home. So I'm basically doing crappy stuff with, this is even, missing the knobs here. So I'm just, doing crappy stuff with crappy gear. And that kind of suits me fine. It keeps me kind of Iljarnish, if you will. Hope that explains why I'm so crappy. So I'm definitely not a technical player. I'm a kind of improvising a lot. If I had the chance to gather a super band with any musicians worldwide, which ones would I like to be in the band, or which genre would they play? And that's a tricky question because you have to understand that people might be great guitar players, great at drumming or whatever, but the chemistry might not be there. And just because some guy is like very good playing death metal drums might not be cool in playing black metal. Let's put it this way. For example, a guy playing drums in the death metal band Nile might not understand how to play primitive black metal in the vein of Ildiarn. And same things would apply, be applied to other way around. Think of like Nocturno Calto from Dark Throne. Would he be able to play technical death metal riffs? Most likely not. So this is kind of a trick question in which I cannot actually answer like that, because different people from different subgenres would just not be that great in other genres. I mean, like if I had a great thrash metal player, it might not be the right choice for black metal. So in that sense, it's impossible for me to answer the question. My thoughts on Russian black metal. Well, Russia is once again one of those more valued treasures. Really, really interesting as scene, but I don't know. Not too many of Russian bands have actually managed to kind of get to the level where they're free to just explore, budget-wise, studio-wise, and all that stuff. I think lots of good atmospheric stuff coming from Russia. Well, not like big numbers, but I think it's kind of all like undervalued, and most of the Russian bands probably don't see that much, happening, considering it's a big country. Well, my Sex Pistols point is more like that. I mean, it doesn't matter who wrote the song. My point is, songs can be quite simple, and I work with the riffs or they don't. I don't know. I'm not an expert of punk, but let's put it this way. I'm a very crappy and non-technical player. Single coil better than hum. I don't know. I don't understand much about guitars anyway. Any thoughts about Hornet shows getting USA getting canceled? Well, I basically replied that already in the start of the thing. Much like the Take video I made a year ago. Not much to add to that, really. The clandestine blaze of crappy, yes, I guess so. What else? What else? Last question. What are some folk metal bands you like? I think I mentioned Nur Sint. I'll type it here. That is one of the better folk metal bands I've yet noticed recently. Of course, I like Isengard, Storm of Satyricon and Dark Throne fame is very good. What else? If you watched the folk metal video I made a couple of weeks ago, that could explain a lot of my points about folk metal. It's kind of a hard cookie to crack in terms of like how do you define folk metal in the first place. But I don't know. Most folk metal bands are not that good, but when they're good, they're really good. And I need to go to bed soon as well. So once I'm finished with the beer, this has been already going for more than 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes. So next time I'm going to keep this more shorter. And what else? What else? What else? Favorite riff master, Chuck Schuldiner by Death. That's my favorite riff master of all time. My thoughts on Electric Wizard and Matt Pike of Sleephoff. Well, I don't have any opinion about that. Not my cup of genre, so to speak. What about Hinonda? Well, I'll listen to some, and I'm not totally convinced. I think they might have something going on there, but I guess there are too many bands the guys are focused on. So Hinonda is not where they could be if they only focused on that one. If there was a whiskey with bits from outer space, would you like to drink a bit? Yes, I would like to have a whiskey with bits of outer space. Odug and Widersog, they are not exactly my kind of bands. I mean, I understand how their melodic and medieval stuff work for some people, but not really my cup of tea. Thank you for being us with Devin. All the best to you. And Salvador, I think I already replied this in a couple of videos, but I'll try to explain it here briefly. How did I start reviewing metal albums? That happened almost 20 years ago. I think it started as I was creating texts in Finnish for a small metal label back then. I was kind of helping creating descriptions for their albums they were selling, because already at my day job back in the days when I was doing this video game distributor, I was doing already these kind of texts for the video games. So I started to creating basically texts for this company. Like this is fast-paced black metal from Sweden, including lots of melodies and shrieky vocals and whatnot, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So when a website called imberumi.net, or nowadays imbe.fi, impe.fi, when they opened in 2002 August, I think, a friend winked to me about it. Like, would you like to start reviewing albums for that one? I'm like, yeah, why the fuck not? So I made an application and sent a few examples what I've been writing so far, and I got right in as a kind of a black metal, death metal specialist, if you will. And well, I've been writing for Imperium so far since 2002 August, so that is almost 17 years now. That is more than 5,000 articles, mostly album reviews, but also more than 1,000 demo reviews, gig reviews, and whatnot. So I also write for. I mean, I wrote for a couple of different smaller medias back then. If you know Norwegian underground Zine called Imhotep, for a little bit, for a little while, I wrote there as well. But then I was kind of overcrowded with this kind of a review work, so I quit it very, very soon, which is kind of a too bad on hindsight. But back in the day, it felt like the right thing to do. And basically, because I had done a lot of stuff for Imperium, I started Rauta to go along with the interviews and whatnot. So we'd had more content, not just interviews, but also reviews and opinion videos and all that stuff. So that is the long or kind of a short version of answer what got me started reviewing metal albums. This is my main job. No, nobody pays me jack shit for doing Rauta. So we basically operate by zero budget. My day job is doing a PR stuff for various companies. I'd like to this to be my day job? I don't know. I guess it would be cool, but I mean, there's not so much money involved that nobody would hire, a metal review guy. I also been writing for a Finnish metal magazine called Inferno since like 2004 or so. But I mean, at best, you could be paid like €1 per review. This didn't last long, but that's the best paycheck for writing metal reviews. So most of the reviews I've written throughout the years have gone without any paycheck. Zero money. That is how it operates in Finland. So no, this doesn't pay my bills. This is just a hobby. It would be cool if you could have some money with Rauta, because that would allow us, me and my camera crew, to go different places, different venues, different gigs, different festivals, and to have more interviews going on. But since there's no money coming in, it's not quite possible to travel. Rauta merchandising, like Rauta, like, this is my cup of tea. Well, that's a good idea. I've actually been pondering, like, would there be interest for Rauta? I don't know, T-shirts or whatnot at some point, maybe. But I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. It's one thing to kind of follow a channel, and it's another thing to actually, like, I really like that channel so much that I want to have a shirt or a coffee mug. So I don't know, man. I don't want to see this being sacrificed on the altar of commercialism. For example, I know that in terms of getting more views and subscribers, it would make sense for me to review only mainstream metal albums, big bands. Just instead of reviewing small underground bands, which get very few reviews per review, it would make more sense for me to just review like big bands, like, doesn't matter if it's digital only or whatnot, kind of like, if Mayhem album comes out, do that. If it's Marduk or, whatever, Cannibal Corpse. But it's just like, not all labels do physical promos. So I stick with the labels that do that, instead of reviewing just bigger albums because they get more views. I don't know if it makes any sense to you, but for me, it's more about this integrity, reviewing what I get in physical format, no matter if it's big label or small label, no label. If it's the band, there's this physical disc or LP or tape. I want to get a look into that and see what this is all about, rather than going for just for the numbers. I know it's not a commercially wise, doesn't make sense, but it's the way I want to operate. With the physical ones, because I'm not dependent money wise on Rauta. That's why I have my day job, so I'm gonna have like hobbies like this. Thank you for your comment, Itzhak. Tatu, thank you for the whiskey things. Sweet writing gigs. They're never that sweet, to be honest. I mean, surely when it's a big band like Metallica, where the ticket might cost you like, I don't know, 80, 100 euros. For those kind of writing gigs, it's actually worth the money to kind of like, write about it rather than pay the ticket and whatnot. But if the gig is like, say, 20 euros and you're just getting the free pass in order to save money, it's not like, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Mr. Salvador Martin del Campo. I was in Mexico in January. I had some tequila, and I also had some local craft beers at the hotel. It was really nice, by the way. And some frame dropping. Sorry for that. What is this? Someone asked me if I know if the HTC cell phone, brand boss is a Finnish black metal fan. Like, what the hell? Hyvinkää Tergalt. Oh yeah. Do I like Celtic Frost or the Monolith Triptychon style more? Celtic Frost. Morbid Tales, great album. Guys, my glass is empty. You have like 3 minutes for your last questions before this one goes to sleep. It's been almost 3 hours. I meant this to be like 30 to 60 minutes stream, and it's been almost like 3 hours. You have been great audience, but next time I probably won't be here like for 3 hours. So good night. Philosophemoli draft, hard name. Now, the last question should be obviously be, Conan, what's best in life? Thank you for being part of this stream. And as always, should you have any comments, opinions, suggestions how to make this all better, that is not only these streams, but Rauta channel in general, please let me know in the comments. I will read them later on, and we'll figure out how to make these better. I try to have another stream maybe in a month, but for that time I need to pick a subject and not make this long. I mean, it's fun to talk with you guys, but I have other things to do as well. So I probably next time I will give you a little more heads up before the stream, and also give you a subject that you can chew on before we start the stream. Thanks for being a part of here and all that. And to reply to one last question by Gerardo Caruso, what do I think of bands like Total Self-Hatred and Kalmanganda? Do I like them? I like some of the material what they're doing. Kalmanganda is very inconsistent what they do. Some of the material is very, well, not very good, but it's good, and some of it's quite mediocre. To be honest, too much stuff coming out, and not everything what they do is good. So they could be doing a lot better, but they're doing quite all right. Total self-hate rate is definitely better than Kalman Kantaja, but that's pretty much I can sum up for that. Now I wish you all the good night and take care. Be checking out those Rauta reviews and interviews. And talking about interviews, we should have Auden, that is Auden, interview from Iceland coming next Tuesday. So to check out some Icelandic black metal, check out Auden. And then we have Morgal interview coming up a week later. So you will definitely have two different underground black metal bands coming your way with some nice interviews. I think they were nice anyway. So be checking them, and good night. Thank you, Tato and other guys, Devin and Ivar, Triduck, all you guys who commented. You be the best audience. See ya, and sleep well listening to some good ass metal. Good ass metal. That is the Starback Wrestling Girl, right? Yeah, bye.